Hello everyone, this is Music and All, back at it with another video. So, the first show is Love Hurts, and I dropped that. I'm sorry. Like, I gave it a 1 out of 5 and that was being generous. And I wasn't even gonna waste 10 minutes per episode to watch people that I already know that suck at acting. So bad. Atrocious. Horrendous. All negative things to say. Sin and Love, I gave that a 0 out of 5 because the acting sucked, the AI, the costuming sucked, everything was bad. Episode 1. It was dragging. Literally everything. And because of that, I dropped it at the first episode because I'm not going to endorse AI in any way. And because it sucked, as I said. It has the same actors from Tide of Love, and you know that the acting is shit. So I'm not going to waste my time. You know, gotta move on with my life. Numero 3. Fix the error. I gave that a 2 out of 5. I really should have dropped this during the first episode, but I only watched it because I remember seeing the Grim Reaper guy and the Taekwondo major guy on Young Jay's YouTube channel. I'll put up the YouTube channel because he's entertaining, girl. We love the gay creators down here. And I remember the Grim Reaper guy saying he was going to be an actor in this project, and he didn't say what the project was, but it was basically on the live stream. So that's fun. And you know what's crazy? You know I consume a lot of media when I recognize two guys from the same YouTube channel in the same show. But the real question is, how high are the bills for national athletes, aka the Taekwondo guy and the Grim Reaper guy? Because the Grim Reaper guy is a national athlete for Korea's artistic gymnastics, team. How high are the bills for national athletes to have to resort to such a horrible project in the name of some cash? Don't get me wrong, I would do it for a check too. Because I know the one guy playing the Grim Reaper is straight. And it just reaffirmed my belief that being hot is sometimes not enough. And this is one of those sometimes. Don't shoot me for this next one, but the Vampire Lestat, I gave that a 3.5. I really didn't like season 3. I think for me, the more they have the seasons, the less I like the show. Season 2 had such a very different vibe from season 1, which was like, okay. But then it felt like it was dragging on. So I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm glad I didn't have to wait years between each season because I watched season 1 and 2 last year or early this year. So I didn't have to be an unfortunate soul to see something that I didn't like.
I think it's because each season felt like completely different shows. More so season 3. That could be because of the time period. The fact that Lestat is the narrator, who knows? But the honey nut glaze needs to be toned down a bit.
On the plus side, the screaming match between Louis and Lestat at the 30-minute mark of episode 6 is so good. I recommend watching that.
Are you hitting the same vagina you spent the first 9 months of your mortal life in? Anatomically, there's the womb. Stop the car.
This is a sick Negro.
The cervix, and there's the uterus jumping, and somewhere the cervix.
They are both in the wrong for that, screaming match though, because incest is bad, and Louis is a hypocrite for telling Lestat to seek professional help when he literally paid a criminal to play his dead daughter and some other girl to play his dead daughter's girlfriend. Right. Let's let that sink in. Is it sinking? Is it sinking? I'm glad. I've seen more happen, which made my jaw drop, but I just recommend you watching the show for yourself. Next, Love Class 3. I gave it a 3 out of 5. No pun intended. I don't really remember Love Class 1 or 2. So that's fun. But the subpar acting, it really just... this was a letdown of a season. Then again, like I said before, I don't remember Love Class season 1 or 2. So that could just be a common theme throughout the Love Class series, and I wouldn't know, And the subpar acting did not help the fact that it was already too short. So most transitions / scenes didn't even make sense. Nor did they ebb and flow together well enough for me to really think that this was all worth it in the grand scheme of. Because it wasn't. I'm sorry. The tall guy, the one that debuted first, I'm sorry because I don't remember his name, nor do I care to know. Anyways, the tall guy that debuted first from the main couple is too clingy. I literally couldn't take that man seriously. And you could really see it throughout the show, but it was especially apparent in episode 12 with the whole texting thing.
왜 여기 있어?
내가 계속 문자했는데 왜 확인 안 해?
문자? 안 하는...
And girl, please leave this man alone.
Leave me alone!
Also, Koon's Sasang experience in Korea and Thailand felt flat, and it wasn't explored enough. Koon and Stella as characters felt flat, especially dialogue-wise, when switching from Korean, Thai, and English, and I feel like they focused more on that than their acting when doing so, because I'm like, you're giving me nothing. Also, Stella and the trainee girl look yummy together, and I wish they would have started hanging out before episode 12, but honestly, they could barely juggle the two main couples. Like, what? Why even put them together? If you know damn well ain't nothing gonna happen from that.
Stop it. Get some help.
But I don't want to be too negative, so let's add some positives in there. So the best acting, in my opinion, came during the makeout shit. Ooh, makeout session at the end of episode 12, and when they started dating, I guess. And with all the kissing noises, it was getting a little long. I said, cut. They put more effort into that than the actual acting, to the point where I don't think we were acting. Of course they were, but the second best thing is the dancing. Only because they had real idols / dancers / trainees. So if that was shit on top of the acting, I'd really be surprised. Also, the supporting cast had good acting in comparison to the others. And then the switch-up game in episode 14 pissed me off so much. It's like, we already know that they'll end up together. No surprise. But Hyunjae was the main one being clingy up until this point, and now he wants to act all cold. I don't care if it's because the company instructed him to do so. In the age of technology, in the age of, having as much autonomy as you want to have, to be honest, he could have pulled a Kun and Jaemin. It's like, in the age of technology, you could have put up a front while on company grounds or in public spaces, and anytime they knew that the company would have eyes and ears on them. But come on. At least give Soo-an a reason, such as, I'm doing this for my debut, can you blame me? Or like pass a note or two. Are you a rookie? Are you a rookie at, keeping secrets being on the DL? No, you're not a rookie. Literally, the show opened up with them basically being in some DL relationship. While being on a survival show, mind you. So I don't want to hear it. It's really not hard. And they still have access to their phones, so they could just text each other, then delete the messages on both of their ends without having to unsend it and like have the notification show up and all that jazz. So moral of the story is, don't fall off the deep end as soon as you start dating someone. Meaning, don't sleep with them right off the cuff. You shouldn't be doing that anyways, first of all. Even if you knew them for years. You knew them for years, that doesn't mean, do all the ads. Because as we can see, it's a recipe for disaster. Same with Kun and Jaemin. Come on now, guys. What are we doing? And Kun terminating his contract for Jaemin in episode 15 at the 2-minute mark was just so selfish and selfless at the same time. And maybe that's because I hate when people make a decision like this in BLs and their partners never have a rash reaction. Instead, they love them even more for the decision. If it was me, I wouldn't want my partner to do that. I wouldn't want you to give up your dreams. I wouldn't want you to make a decision that affects the both of us on my behalf just because you think that's something I would love you for. Because even if I do love you in this moment, I would be like, well, damn, what are we supposed to do now? What are you supposed to do now when being an idol was your number one goal and now you have no goals to your name? It's like, yeah, your goal is to love me. Your goal is to do all these things with me, but that's not stable. That's not healthy. I think their relationship had too much codependency to the point where I'm like, this is suffocating. It may not feel like it now, but give it some time, boys. Give it some time, boys. Get some years under your belt, and I feel like resentment will come back to bite. In my head, like, even if I felt resentment for how the company treated me, because Jaemin, they just tossed him aside. They were like, this is what we plan on doing to you from the get-go. Anyways, even if I felt resentment if that happened to me, right? If my partner had the chance at success, then I would just cheer them on. Not let them give up their dreams just because I wouldn't be a part of it in the same capacity. Are we following? Like, does that make sense? Am I crazy? And it's like, yeah, you could sit here and say, it's fine because Kun had the means to do it by paying the termination fee, but why? Why would you make him, like, I mean, not even make him, why would you feel the need to do that just because Jaemin is no longer in the group? It's like, you had it pretty good, brother. It's like, Jaemin, stand up. And to make matters better, which is like worse in my opinion, they had some random fan in episode 15 at the 8-minute mark come up to Kun and Jaemin to reaffirm the retirement as the best decision because he looks so happy. Enough. Stand up. Now. And I'm not saying you should stick with something if it no longer I'm not saying you should stick with something even if it no longer makes you happy, but to attribute stepping away from singing for Jaemin, pack up shop. The meat stick ain't never that good. The beef jerky ain't never that good. No. The man meat is never that good. Okay? And I didn't like the ending because Broski literally liked Soo-an's post and then he looks all surprised when he pulled up. What? Is we doing some like Zach King level stuff where we like a post and swipe up and now they're here in front of you? No. And I'm surprised I even stayed up to watch this half-baked ass show every week because it came out in the morning and it was just so boring that I was just like actively trying not to fall asleep. Oh my lordy loo. Anyways, a dog in a plane. 5 out of 5. No notes. I have minimal complaints, especially after that last one. We should have seen more of that side couple. Obviously not after that atrocious haircut because the amount of TikTok videos I've seen clowning my man.
Who the fuck did your hair?
What?
Nah, I'm on the phone.
Rightfully so, because nobody made you fucking do that. Absolutely not. Please get off my screen. Anyways, in that realm of things, in the realm of that complaint, the richer person did more and sacrificed more to be with the the less fortunate individual, and none of it was an equal compromise. So it was just a richer person changing most things about themselves just to be with their respective partner, but it wasn't reciprocated in the same way back. Toto put in more effort than Kanet's, but Kanet's sacrifices were more. For example, Kanet was willing to invest in everything Toto, not take the job in Dubai. Kanet was willing to drop his family for Toto, only care about Toto because his family was like, why are you trying to be with this brokey? And Kanet was like, okay, then I'll drop my family like a bad habit. Like, it's okay. And other things. It was crazy. Veha shaved his head / waited 7-8 years for Aki, even though nobody told that man to fucking do that. He was over here begging for this man to come back on he was begging for Aki to, make sure he doesn't break up with him in their final days before his enlistment. and that was during the shaved head arc. Fun. The only thing that Aki did was try to win Veha back after not realizing his feelings for those 8 years and all this blah 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 blah. Anyways, I really liked the extra scene at the end of episode 10 where they broke the fourth wall and pushed the camera. That was so good. So good. And I think this is my favorite of the many Tainu series. They never miss, so I don't technically have a favorite, but I know this is like up there. I loved it. Next is Shadowhunters. I give Shadowhunters a 4 out of 5. Honestly, I would have ranked it lower, but whatever. After rewatching the Malik compilation, After rewatching the Malik compilation on YouTube for years, I finally caved in and watched the show. And Malik had me tweaking out in my room for 5 days straight because I love them so much. I love them. However, I don't remember the guy that plays Alexander, but we need to work on the acting. My brother in Christ, can we do something with the face? Because even when he was sad, even when he was mad, like even through it all, it was giving the same stone face all the time, even while getting married. Okay, no shade. I didn't like Clary Frey for most of the show. Same with Simon, but they grew on me more Simon than anyone. Maya was wishy-washy for me. Same with Jace, Raphael. What's his name? Jordan. And the one guy that Izzy was dating at the beginning of the show and then was still there. The Sealy guy. I don't remember his name. And also, fuck Simon's mom. She knew he was a vampire before he even bit his sister, but good riddance. I'm glad they moved to Florida. Like, do you really think this man would actively try to hurt his sister? Like, you saw what went down and you're like, get out before I kill you. It's like, girl, get out before I kill you. How dare you say that shit to me? I don't have much to say about this since it was 3 seasons long. And I hated the incestuous relationship that they established between Clary and Jace and Jonathan. Well, because it was a whole thing, but then turned around to do it again with her actual brother Jonathan, which was crazy ass fucking work. Because what do you mean Clary and Jace were dating, but then some guy was like, oh yeah, no, you're brother and sister, so yeah. So they were, orbiting each other. Then she dated Simon. That didn't work out, so they became friends again. And then Jace finds out that Clary's not his sister, doesn't really tell her for a couple days. Then, Clary finds out. They're like, okay. Jace goes bad boy. And then Jonathan is introduced, and he over here kissing up on her and, trying to get with her. And I'm like, okay. No. Even when Jace thought that Clary was his sister, he never made a move. But Jonathan, you knew, and he did not care. He did not care. More than once, mind you. It's like Jonathan was in glam to make himself look like Jace, but another time he just was not. Another time he was just not. It's like, what? Stop it. Anyways, bad kid, good partner. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. They played in my face at the end of episode 21, so that was fun. Also, how was Hye-sung found in episode 24? I'm thinking, I'm waiting. That's right. We don't know. I'll just pretend that they shared each other's location because if not, you're a fucking stalker. That's stalkerish behavior. Anyways, Shin Yu-il's house reminds me of the house used in My Bias is Showing. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't feel like, doing compare and contrast. Too much fucking work here. Also, who doesn't love when a couple gets together in the last 10 episodes and then exchange rings in the second to last episode? Yay! They had to make sure they show it off too, since it was the second to last episode. So who do you love? Hey. And there was a lot of plot holes because of the short format. So when the next episode came, I was so confused most of the time. But they also didn't look good as a couple. So I'm just like, okay, girl, skip. When does this get good? Because the answer was never. Especially the guy that played the one that was kidnapped. Girl, what? Oh, the bottom boy. Right. I think, what's his name? Oh, Hye-sung? No, that was a flop. Next, hyperventilation. I gave that a 5 out of 5 out of 5 out of 5. It walks so Mignon can run. I believe that wholeheartedly. Animation has come a long way from 2017 because it was no bars. I loved it. It was good. Should have done longer, like I said. And the only thing that was a little off-putting for me was that essay from the top outside of the bar. Slight. Actually, I say it's essay. I'm not trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I also watched Shotline. I gave that a 4.5 out of 5. Just like the manhwa, but it was too short. And when are we getting that season 4 and 2? When are we getting season 2? Because this came out, 2 years ago? The people are tired of waiting. And I feel like the animation style could have been better. Like, why am I seeing better work from hyperventilation than this? Right, I'm waiting for improvements. The Dangerous Convenience Store, it was I mean, I feel like episode 1 and 2, there was this dichotomy where I feel like I didn't need to see all that. Like, genuinely, we could have focused on the relationship between the mafia man and the convenience store guy and not spend episode 2 seeing the convenience store guy at college and only bring up the gangster guy in the last 2 seconds of the show. Especially considering it was only 2 episodes long. But other than that, I give it a 5 out of 5 out of 5 because it was really good. But, damn, I don't know, I don't know if it was just where I was watching the video, but the video quality was so low. It was like 480p, maybe even 120. But I love the animation, I love the voice acting, no notes. Ippon, Hon Misai. I give this a 3 out of 5, maybe a 2 point something. There was a hot guy, but, there was unnecessary slow-mos. The actors aren't judo athletes, so they use the same takedown move every episode. I was like,
Boring. Yawning. Sloppy. Lazy.
most of the time I was watching it, I was saying, what the fuck is going on? especially considering it is a short format, but then the plot just didn't make sense, so that also didn't help its own case. And the relationship between the two characters just escalated too quickly. Also, the one guy with the weird powers reminds me of the man from CityBoy_log, City Boy Vlog. And that same guy was an FC sold out too. Can't remember his name for the life of me, so I'll put him up here eventually. Table for 3 is the reason why I made this video. 5 out of 5 out of 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 out of 5 out of 5. So good. So good. So good. Should have been going on for longer. Going on for longer. But going on. Girl. The NC scene went on for 7 to 8 minutes too many, girl. I don't know if that's a common theme across the 50 minutes, which it kind of wasn't at the same time. But how do we go from having a heart-to-heart in the kitchen while eating corned beef to eating another type of man meats? To eating another type of meat 2 seconds later. Right. And the director's devious for having the camera pan so we can see more of the action. I'm like, okay, this is not Avengers Endgame, girl. This is not Avengers Infinity War. Back, it's up. Okay. And genuinely the entire time I was like, okay, wow, whoa, really getting into it. We're getting into it. And this is not like 4 minutes where I'm seeing like man meats. Like, it's not that, but I'm seeing a whole lot of everything but man meats. So, wow. And the fight at the 23-minute mark had me feeling like I was interrupting something. Then again, that was a common theme throughout this entire short film. And me personally, I would have just made out like a bad habit like Jeremy did and removed myself from the situation, because also L. Jeremy for slightly coercing Paul into doing it at the restaurant, and L. Marlon for committing adultery, which no, after watching all of it, maybe he didn't even commit adultery, but he was led somewhere. Actually, you know what, L. Marlon too, because he's over here bringing up stuff that they already worked on. Like, and if Marlon ended up doing the deed with that one random person, especially when he knew Paul and Jeremy were waiting for him at the restaurant, no. And I'm just waving the red flag because Marlon got upset, rightfully so, but not rightfully so at the same time after catching them in the act. Click. But that's extremely hypocritical considering he did the same shit with Jeremy in the kitchen. It's like, even if you didn't commit adultery on Valentine's Day, you did the same shit with Jeremy in the kitchen. However, it's only right because you didn't cheat on Paul? Question mark? What? And you know what? It's the way my jaw is not getting a break because it keeps hitting the floor. I thought that Marlon was mad because he was never the one in the relationship, if you know what I mean. But I was mistaken. So again, I'm feeling like Jeremy's reaction to this entire conversation was valid, justified. I would leave the relationship too, because whatever. But again, my jaw being on the floor did not last because I picked that shit up with the quickness because I started busting out laughing at the poor man's version of that screenshot / Photoshop, efforts for vacation pictures from the production team. So kawaii. Well, this is the last of all of them, so I just want to say this one is not for the kids. And none of these are, but this one is straight 18+, not safe for work. But nonetheless, this was a very eye-opening but necessary depiction of a throuple, and especially the voiceovers that served as internal dialogue / insight into Paul, Marlon, and Jeremy's stance on the relationship. I really love this. This is my favorite piece of media that I've consumed over the last month and a half, and it's my favorite thing on the list so far because it was just, I was pausing too much because it was so good. But that's all I have. No closing remarks. Peace, love, see you in the next one. Bye.